Hi, my name is Stephanie Scigliano, and I have always been obsessed with color. So my favorite medium to work with is alcohol inks because they're just really fun and vibrant, and you can use them on so many different kinds of surfaces. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is prep your surface and your table. Alcohol inks stain permanently clothes, skin. Granted, it's not going to stain permanently on your skin, but it will stick around for quite a while. So always wear rubber gloves, and I just go to the dollar store and get a cheap plastic tablecloth to put over my surface, and that keeps everything from seeping through and ruining whatever surface that you're working on. So we're going to be doing alcohol inks on glass. I like to use glasses as votives, votive holders. So this does not have a votive holder, but it does, a little votive, but it does have the little twinkle lights in it. So they're really fun lined up on a mantle or like in the middle of your table or something, especially for a party or holidays. Okay, the first thing that you're going to want to do is take some rubbing alcohol and clean the inside of the glass. Fingerprints, dust, things like this. It'll really help the ink to move better and do what you want it to do because you will notice dust show up if you don't clean the inside of it, and that dries really quickly. So the alcohol inks also dry really quickly, which is good because they work best and they are sort of the happiest playing with each other if you wait for each ink to dry before you add the next one. I like to start myself with the darkest color. You don't have to, because sometimes if I want to make sure that the darker color isn't too heavy. You're going to want to help the inks move around a bit on the inside of the glass. So you can use the canned air. You can use, this is made for alcohol inks, but I've actually used the baby, I don't even know what it's called, nose aspirator, I guess. Oh. You could use also, and then, or just a straw. The shape of the glass makes it so that the inks do move around easily, but I like to help move it along, and it also helps the inks dry a little bit faster too. I get very impatient. So I just start at the top and you barely squeeze because some does come out. And it helps to dry the inks more quickly to use a straw or canned air. You can use You can use a blow dryer on low, but I would just use a little bit at a time so that your glass doesn't get too hot. The alcohol inks work best, like I said, when you layer them and you let the inks dry before you add another. And I'm not going to put any air on this, and I'm just going to let it dry just to show you how quickly they do dry because there's such a high alcohol content. And what alcohol inks do is they will, let's say the first color is dry and you go to add a second color, it pushes the first color out of the way. It will start to mix around the edges, but it really just moves the first color out of the way. And another reason to let the colors dry before you add another is that they do have a tendency to get muddy, especially if you use red and green together. They'll get muddy and it just gets a little bit dark. And you can keep the colors more separate and more vibrant if you don't let them mix while they're wet. And again, this is just to help dry it. And I'll just look for an open spot and add some. Oop, I put a little bit too much in. So what I'll do then, because I did too much, is I'll just turn the glass to spread it. So I shouldn't have said oops. Happy accidents with alcohol inks. They're very fun to play with. If you use canned air, or short bursts of the hair dryer, you can get what I call little sort of fingers, which is another sort of cool texture to add. Summery to me. Wish it were summer. And it's up to you how much ink you want to put in. I like to leave some areas white, or not white, clear, and others with the inks so that you can see more of the light on the inside, but that's totally up to you. You can cover all of the clear areas if you'd like. Again, make sure that you let the color dry as much as you can before you add another. They do dry pretty quickly. And one way to tell is the inks are more shiny when they're wet and they get a little matte when they're not. If you're working on other surfaces, a lot of times you'll seal the alcohol inks, but you don't have to do that in these because you're not using the inside. And these are not to drink out of. These are because you can't seal the inside of it. Another thing that you can do with the glass that I really like to do is the craft glass Christmas bulbs. You just do the same thing where you can put the inks in and it's a similar, pretty much the same technique, and you just sort of let it move around. The thing is though, you need to give more time if you're going to be working in something that has a little opening like this, you just need to give more time for the inks to dry before you add another. You can also do it with the plastic craft bulbs. It doesn't move around quite as smoothly, but it does work. And once you put the top on it, nothing is going to smudge it or anything like that. If you decide that you don't like what you did, or you've been using a candle or one of the fake candles or the twinkle lights, and it sort of rubs some of the inks, all you need to do is take the same isopropyl alcohol and put it on a paper towel or something to wipe it down, and you can just clean it all out and you can start all over again. I recommend using the 91% isopropyl alcohol. I know that's a little hard to get right now, so the 70% will work, but the stronger the better for the alcohol ink. And if you get it on your fingers or on your surface, you can also use this to clean it up. Alcohol inks work really well on non-absorbent surfaces, so feel free to experiment with ceramic. You can put it on candles, you can use different kinds of, you can use them on non-tree papers as well, because those do not absorb the inks and they move freely around. once you get comfortable with using the alcohol, or don't be intimidated by using alcohol inks. They're really fun and user friendly, and it's very addicting to use them. And you will also collect all the colors at some point, just like I am.